No, Andre the Giant right there, yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah. I'm an Andre fanatic.
Oh, yeah.
I can't believe he's gone. Shout out to Ridley Funeral Home. Let's get into this, Rick.
Toronto. VK on the beat. Check. I'm in Toronto where you wanna get the city love. I'm from Toronto where you wanna get the city love. I'm in Toronto like we wanna get the city love. My city love me back for my city love.
Welcome to episode 1240 of Toronto Mic'd. Proudly brought to you by Great Lakes Brewery, a fiercely independent craft brewery who believes in supporting communities, good times, and brewing amazing beer. Order online for free local home delivery in the GTA. Palma Pasta. Enjoy the taste of fresh, homemade Italian pasta and entrees from Palma Pasta in Mississauga and Oakville. Season 4 of Yes, We Are Open, the award-winning podcast from Monaris, hosted by FOTM Al Grego. Electronic Products Recycling Association. Committing to our planet's future means properly recycling our electronics of the past. The Moment Lab. Brand marketing and strategy, PR, advertising and production.
Love those guys.
You need The Moment Lab and Ridley Funeral Home, pillars of the community since 1921. Today, returning to Toronto Mic'd to kick out the jams is Rick Campanelli.
1,240 episodes. Did I hear you correct?
You heard it correctly. Can you name the number? Can you name the number? What do you remember the number of your initial visit?
Oh my goodness.
I thought you would have got a tattoo to commemorate the number. No.
I was thinking about it, Mike. I do like where you've brought things though. We're in your in-home studio. We were out in the backyard.
So let's set this up. You thought we'd be in the backyard today because I saw you putting on your gloves.
I had the gloves on. It's a sunny day. It is a cool-ish spring day, but
because you were a backyard episode. Because that was like a COVID rule, I think. You weren't supposed to be together indoors or whatever. And we respected the rules. So in September 2021,
that's when it was.
Rick Campanelli. Don't call him. Do people call you Rick Campanella? Like, do they want to put an A at the end?
Sometimes.
You know, I was spell checked. Like I was typing in your name and it wanted to change your name to Campanella.
There are some famous Campanellas.
Yeah, this baseball player, Roy Campanella.
Yeah,
I want to say.
That's right. Yeah, you're
right.
Yeah.
Is it Tessa Campanella who was fucking Joey Jeremiah?
No, she was a Campanelli.
Okay.
She wasn't often, yeah. But so that was September 21, so that was what, episode 850?
912.
912.
Here's what I wrote.
By
you were
62.
Here's what I wrote at the time. Mike chats with Rick the Temp. Does everyone still call you Rick the Temp?
Everyone, Mike? Not everyone, but most, yes.
Too many people, right?
Too many.
Well,
I don't mind at all. I don't mind at all.
Okay, well, Rick Campanelli, about his years at MuchMusic, Entertainment Tonight Canada, 102.1 The Edge. That's a fun fact. I remember you there.
Yeah.
And more. That episode was like, 96 minutes. Wow. And now you're back to kick out the jams. Here, I'm changing up the format. So, Rick.
Yeah.
Normally, we catch up for like a half an hour.
No.
And then we play the jams.
Don't have time.
But what we're going to do is we're going to start the jams right away.
Jams.
And then we'll catch up between songs. Like, basically, I'll bring down... So I have this new format I'm going to play with. Let's get right to it.
Are these one of my jams that I picked? Or is it one of your jams?
No, it's always yours.
Oh,
it's
okay.
all yours.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, before, though.
So many jams. Many jams.
Not one of your jams, but there was a discussion in the FOTM DM group on Twitter. Very exclusive club. I think we're at 70 members and we're capped at 75. And if you want in that club, you got to tell me why you deserve to be in there. But I guess we could add a few more bodies, Rick. So you got to get in on that action. But here's a jam I'm going to play. Because you noticed that MuchMusic poster hanging in the studio from David Kynes.
Punch Much.
Right. And here's a jam those of us of a certain vintage will remember. So I'll let this brew, and then I think you'll remember it, but I'm dying to know if you can name the artist.
Oh, man.
Give it a moment.
Oh, I know this song.
Wait till you get to the... Yeah, that chorus is a earbud, like an earworm, so...
See, I can sing all the songs.
See, the little bet I had with Midtown Gord on the live stream was that I know you're going to know this song because you're probably older than me. And this chorus.
No,
has been
I know this song. Yeah.
Here comes the chorus. Here it comes. Here it comes.
Soul City, that's where we're headed. And I won't be back till the money's all gone. Oh, yeah, the money's all gone, yeah.
Any chance you can name that artist? I don't think you can.
They're on the tip of my tongue, this band. I used to love this band.
Okay.
I used to love this band. Oh.
Keep digging for it, because I'll give a little insight from Midtown Gord. Midtown Gord tells me they had a different name at the beginning of their career. They won a Q107 homegrown contest, and their name was, I'm looking for it now.
Any more hints? Can you give me any more hints?
Well, hold on. They were called... Where's Gord's note? Hold on. There's been a bunch of chatter here. Hold on here. Stand by. There's a lot of happening at live.torontomike.com right now. Oliver Heaviside was the name of the band, and then they changed their name before this hit, which is pretty much their one hit.
Yeah, Soul City was. Is it a two-word name? 2 words?
No, I might have to help you. I don't think you're...
Help me out.
I don't think you're going to get it, Rick Campanelli.
I was grooving to this tune back in the day, though.
Yeah. The Partland Brothers.
Brothers. Okay. I knew Brothers was in there.
Okay, you should have said that. I would have given you partial points.
Brothers. Yeah, Partland Brothers.
Okay, so I'm right. You
Soul City.
Yeah, it's a catchy ditty, right?
Yeah. And I think Soul in this City was
Michael Williams?
created by Michael Williams soon after or soon before. I don't know.
What's your relationship like with Michael Williams?
Michael Williams I met once at Steve Anthony's 60th birthday party. Michael Williams was lift that right up. The microphone. Michael Williams.
Yeah, what am I lifting here, Rick? Come on.
The microphone. But Michael Williams, I used to tune into daily on MuchMusic back in the day, in the mid to late 80s. His beautiful scarves. He was so knowledgeable.
He's from Cleveland.
Yeah.
As is Joel Goldberg.
Yeah,
they're both
that's
Cleveland
right.
guys.
Yeah.
But here, I've been unsuccessful in getting Michael Williams to come
No
on
way.
Toronto Mike. Yeah.
Really?
So I need some intervention.
See, he was a part of the MuchMusic documentary, 299 Queen Street West. Maybe you have to talk to the director of that.
Who's the director of that?
Sean Menard, who did the Carter Effect.
Oh,
the
of
Vince
course.
Carter story.
Which is like is that a Drake production?
Drake,
I think
Drake
that's
helped out. I think
I
LeBron.
think his
LeBron.
production company. Yeah, LeBron. Okay.
Michael
so
Williams has to be on
You're
this show.
in this doc, right? 299 Queen Street West.
Yeah, man. It's so cool. It's so amazing to go back. To relive the magic.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so this is all stuff I promised myself we'd talk about between
Yeah.
songs. So I'm actually going to kick out your first jam. We're going to let it go for a little bit. We'll bring it down. You tell us why you love the song. I'm actually starting with a long song because we have so much catching up to do. People want to know. I have questions. It's going to be fantastic.
Sure, man. Yeah.
Here we go.
I'm ashamed I didn't know the Partland Brothers.
I didn't think you would. I
Darn it.
couldn't remember the name of that band myself. So
Redeem myself.
no shame here. Are you ready, Rick,
Yes.
to kick out the jam?
Let us begin. Oh. Are we talking over the intro, or are we letting
can
Billy,
talk. You
Billy
can
do his
talk.
thing? The piano man. Oh.
It's your call, your jam. You can talk or you
Scenes
can
from
let
an
it brew.
Italian restaurant. It's just something about Billy Joel.
A bottle of white,
Yeah. Don't forget the red.
a bottle of red,
Man.
perhaps a bottle of rosé instead.
Woo! Yes. This is epic, this
Get
song.
a table near the street.
It'll take up half your show, Mike.
We'll make time for this, Rick. Rick, tell me why you love this Billy Joel
I'm going
jam.
way back to the days of the 8-track tape. Okay?
Wow.
My parents had the biggest stereo in the dining room. It was, remember those big things?
Yeah,
with
they
the
were like hutches or whatever. They were-
hutches
yeah.
with the material covering the speaker.
Right.
Our 8-track tape was in there. We had everything from Three Dog Night to Billy Joel. And I was first introduced to Billy Joel in this song via 8-track tape. Your listeners don't know what 8-track tape is.
Do you know who this is? A 8-track friendly audience, okay, Rick?
Okay.
Mostly Gen X, but beyond. I know Midtown Gord. He's
Midtown Gordon
an
knows.
8-track man.
He knows. But I was introduced to the sweet sounds of Billy Joel and his piano and the saxophone you hear there on that machine, that hutch that my parents had in their dining room. And
Like a hi-fi complex.
It had the record player as well, the vinyl. You could do vinyl. You could do 8-track.
Yeah.
You can store your you can store like I think 12 8-track tapes, just 12 of them.
Wow.
But as soon as I heard this song, the voice, I was addicted to Billy Joel.
And it's got these tempo changes, right? Like
does,
this is an
yeah,
epic
yeah.
jam. Like listen to where we're at now.
Got a new life and the family is fine.
Oh, goosebumps.
It's kind of like Meatloaf or whatever,
Yes.
Paradise by the Dashboard Light. Like you've got parts.
It really is. And like Freddie Mercury and Queen used to do with their songs.
Right.
But I've been seeing Billy Joel in concerts for years now. Every time he would come to Hamilton, every time he would come to Toronto. I'm even now taking the show on the road and bringing my brother down on road trips. We were in Philly a couple summers ago to see Billy Joel. He looks different, Mike, but he sounds the same. He puts on a show, man.
I don't
Billy
think
Joel.
pound for pound, I don't think there's a pop artist with more hits related to their quantity of their releases. Like if you look at how many songs has Billy Joel recorded and how many of them are top 40 hits, he's got the highest batting average.
He was the face of MTV for the 80s when We Didn't Start the Fire came out. You know, that he was the face of MTV. Like they had a lot of faces, but Billy Joel, one of them.
You know what other jam is like this with the parts is Band on the Run.
Yeah,
right?
That's right.
Yeah. So you got Paradise. You should kick out the multi-part tempo change jams.
I was thinking Paul McCartney and the Wings. I was thinking a lot of the up-tempo, down, changing it up. I think I have a few of those songs in the repertoire of what I sent you, but I had hundreds, man.
Let's talk about this process. So you said you couldn't come up with 10 jams. You actually sent me 20 jams and said, pick 10. I've like carefully curated from your 20 songs. I've come up with these 10.
Sweet, man, sweet.
I even picked the order and everything. I wanted to start with this.
Yeah.
Because I know your surname is Italian. Campanelli. It's nowhere to hide there, okay? This is the anniversary of Gino Vanelli's visit. You know, you can't hide.
Gino, love him.
Love Gino. Can we get off black cars for a moment, Rick? Okay. So, is your mother of Italian descent as well?
Yeah, my no-no on my mother's side is genuine Sicilian. Love the Sicilian cannolis. Prefer them to the Venetians.
Well, leave the gun, take the cannoli. Okay, Rick?
But yeah, my mom was born in, a different part of Italy, Hamilton, Ontario.
I have a note from Brad Jones at Ridley Funeral Home.
Yep.
Shout out to Ridley Funeral Home. He just writes, a good Hamilton boy. Lest we forget, you did drop a hint early already, but you are a Hamilton guy.
Oski wee wee.
Woo! Yeah. You know, Pakin's going to love that when he listens, because when Pakin listens to every episode that's not all about CFNY, this is
Steve
what I've been
does, really? Every single... 1,240 of them.
Yeah, except
Steve.
for the CFNY episodes. For whatever reason, once he smells... We got to be careful, because you were on CFNY for a little while, so I hope he doesn't smell that coming. But you're a good Hamilton boy.
What's his beef with CFNY?
I don't know. He's okay, spoiler alert, because this is going to come back into play. This is why we're starting with jams, and we'll interweave our conversation. He's a huge Sinatra fanatic. And maybe the polar opposite of Sinatra is the David Marsden era of CFNY, maybe. So I just think he rejects that whole scene.
That's fair enough. Good story.
That's not enough. I think he's missing out, but you're a good Hamilton boy. Shout out to Ridley Funeral Home. Of Italian descent, this song is called Scenes from an Italian Restaurant. How was your Palma pasta lasagna experience?
Oh, can we just talk about that pasta?
Yeah, this is the time, brother.
That lasagna, when I visited you that first time, you were so gracious enough. And Palma, Louis De Palma. Remember Louis De Palma? Taxi?
Of course.
Yeah, okay. One of my favorite characters of all time.
I'm pushing 50 here,
Danny
okay?
DeVito.
I know my taxi.
But when my wife and I tasted that Palma lasagna, we were hooked. We wanted more.
And you know your sauces, right?
Oh, that sauce was delicious. Nona made that one, right?
It's the best. That Palma is definitely a Nona, and she's still with us, thankfully. Palma Petrucci is the matriarch, and it's Palma and her husband who started Palma Pasta.
You know, my Nona made a great lasagna, but this one from Palma, their kitchen comes very close.
So you're getting another lasagna to take home with you today.
I appreciate
Palma
that.
Pasta.
Thank you, man.
That's worth the drive. But we were kind of changing tempo again. Here, hold on.
Oh, it's all over the place. I love it.
It's a pretty ditty.
And this one has special meaning to me, too, because when I first started dating my wife, Angie, we went on a date in New York City. Mulberry Street is an Italian restaurant. We ordered red. We ordered white. And a little rosé as well. But the tiramisu was so good. But no. And I took my first picture of my wife at that restaurant, that Italian restaurant, and it just all goes. It all connects.
But see, this is why I love kicking out the jams with people like you, because I can get you over here and we can spend 90 minutes talking about MuchMusic.
Oh, we've talked about that in the past.
We do it all.
That's-
Entertainment Tonight, Canada. We can do it. But I'll learn about Rick by hearing him talk about the songs he loves.
Yeah. And there's so many. Like there's thousands. Like when I sent you that list, Mike, I said to myself, wait a minute, no. I forgot at least 10. But there's so many songs, so many amazing songs. There you go.
Just checking
Good
in
job,
the live
Billy.
stream. Canada Kev is joining us. He saw Joel for the first time at Maple Leaf Gardens in 82.
Yeah, I was at
Glass
that show.
Houses tour,
I was at that show.
he believes.
Oh, wow.
All right, and no 8-track
Joel,
for Leslie,
well
but she just had a turntable, but her uncle had an 8-track in his car. So, and Canada's,
car,
yeah,
that's
okay,
awesome.
love it. Marcusor is with us. He only ever listened to this to the disco Star Wars theme on an 8-track. That's his memory.
Oh, a disco Star Wars?
No, I've actually heard the disco Star Wars. Yeah, that's epic. Moose Grumpy's with us. She remembers driving in her father's car with an 8-track. So yeah,
Wow.
there's a
There
lot
you
of
go. Okay, so there you go.
FOTMs
Great.
with
Great,
8-track memories. Okay, so I think one quick memory from the Billy Joel concert that Canada Kev attended. He remembers a 1050 Chum Gorilla at the show. So
Interesting.
shout out to
At
I
that
wonder
80s
who was
Maple
in there.
Leaf Gardens
Maybe Roger Ashby was in the gorilla suit. Who knows?
Interesting. We had a gorilla mascot at my high school in Hamilton. Maybe it was the same gorilla. Yeah.
Probably. There can't be more than one, so I'm thinking
Gorilla
it's the
got
same.
around, yeah.
That gorilla got around. So I actually got one question more than any other for you. So now that we're between jams 1 and 2,
man.
I'm going to hit you with it. Shortly after your visit last time, whenever we said that was, you became the new morning man at Z.
Oh, I did.
You're not a Z. You forgot about this, right?
You're so Canadian.
Z103. That's bullshit. It's Z103, right?
Z1035. Yeah.
So American.
I
Okay.
know. It's American. Yeah. I don't know.
So the big question is, and the mic is yours, Rick. I want to hear what happened. Like suddenly you were gone.
Suddenly I was gone. It was 13 months of getting up at 3:30 in the morning. Listen, man, I tried hard every morning. I would get up. It would be very dark. I said to myself, can we swear on this show?
Yes.
What the F am I doing?
You
getting
didn't
up at
swear.
I just
Why
can't
do you
do it.
ask if you can
I know,
swear
and
and
then
say
don't
what
do
the
it.
F?
I just
It's a
couldn't
bad
do
habit.
it anymore.
You
I
don't
did it
wanna-
for 13 months, and I said to I loved the job. Don't get me wrong.
So
it was a fun
3:30?
show. I was going to bed at 6:30, 7 p.m. every night. I had no social life. I couldn't watch my sports. I couldn't watch.
Did you
the
watch the
Leafs
Leafs
lose
last night?
7-3.
Yeah, I was going to say, it might have done you a favor if you were going to bed last night at 7:30.
I'm a big sports guy. I'm a big music guy, but the sport. I needed sports more than music at the time, I guess. And Z, the lovely people that they are, it all came to an end.
So
in
you
January of-
basically
yeah.
quit, is what I'm hearing.
Well,
Well, listen,
quit
Rick,
is such a strong. But resign. Took a step back.
this is the home of real talk. It's okay to be fired from radio.
It is. I wasn't. I wasn't.
You look like you're shy about
But
it. I don't know what happened.
it
You're telling me.
It lasted a lot longer than my tenure at CFNY.
CFNY.
That was 7 months.
And did you quit that too?
No, I had to, but I was doing ET Canada at the same time,
right.
and I couldn't do 14-hour days anymore. Here's the thing: you do morning radio, and it's a great slot. You're waking the people up, you're getting them woken up. Have you ever done it?
No.
It is extremely
I
difficult.
wake up at 7:30. Okay, that's my time.
So there you go. We'd be on air for an hour and a half already in preparation for
At Z103.
So I had to give it up. I had to take a step back, and I've got a young family at home.
How old are these kids again?
So they're growing. They are getting bigger. 9 and 7 now.
I'm glad
My
they're
little
growing.
guys.
Imagine they weren't. That's good. 9 and 7?
And an 18-year-old teenager.
Okay, I have a 9-year-old as well.
I know you
Just-
do. I know.
By the way, you said they're growing. One way to measure their height is with the Ridley Funeral Home measuring tape I'm giving you,
Oh,
Rick. So this
thank
is
you.
courtesy
Yeah.
of Ridley Funeral
They're
Home.
still a lot shorter than I am, but that won't be lasting long. Maybe next summer they'll be
No, I'm thinking,
towering over me.
I think actually, so my oldest daughter has stopped growing, and I am still taller than her. But I'm wondering when my 9-year-old will be taller than me. It won't be too long. It happens quickly.
Is your daughter a teenager?
She lives on campus at McGill. She's turning 19 this summer.
Okay.
And my oldest,
Great school.
he passed me when he was 13. So he was taller than me at 13. But then we all said, because very young,
Yeah.
he was like 5'10", and we all said, oh, he's going to be like 6'4", 6'5". But he stopped growing at like 13. So he's taller than me, who's only 5'9". But not that there's anything wrong with that. Shout out to Stu Stone. We're going to talk about him in a minute. But at 13, we said he's going to be 6'4", 6'5". He said that's it for me. I'm good at like 5'10".
I think I met him last time.
Maybe
long
James.
hair?
Not too long, but shaggy.
Yeah,
like
shaggy hair. Shaggy
maybe
hair.
that was pandemic neglect. He's a good boy. He's at York University.
Good for that. Look at Lear kids at York at McGill.
You ready for this?
Wow.
Okay, he's 21, and he's a big hockey fan, big Leafs fan.
Yeah.
He has zero memory of a second-round game featuring his Toronto Maple Leafs. Zero memory, because the Leafs haven't made the second round since 2004, when he was 2, and he has no memory of 2. So think about it. He's going to be like, he could be like having children, having a family, and have zero memory of a second-round Leafs game.
No, it's happening this year. He's going to
He's happening this year.
He's going to.
Did you watch last night?
Don't panic. Don't panic. No panic. Come on, these are the Toronto Maple Leafs. We've got some talent on this team.
Yeah, we've had talent for the last few years, right? We had talent last year.
Even the 2004 team, Matt Sandin, Darcy Tucker, who else? Owen Nolan.
But the early 2000s team that you're describing, that Pat Quinn team, made 2 conference finals.
They did.
They got to the conference finals twice. We can only dream of a second round game in this market.
It's going to happen sooner or later, isn't it? You think?
I hope you're right. So I want to shout out Daryl Fisher, who's a listener, and he said he wanted to know more about your departure from Z103.5. But you've said all you're going to say here.
All good things must come to an end. It wasn't anything nasty. I just found out that I wasn't a morning person, apparently.
So was it? Can we say it was a amicable, mutual decision that maybe Rick's not our morning guy?
That's the thing. It's very early. I thought I could do it, and 13 months is a long go. It's more than a year.
Okay, good for you, Rick. Look, I'm going to your second jam because again, you gave me a pool of 20. I chose 10. I think I started picking my favorite songs from your 20.
You. Okay, I'm glad.
And I love this song so much. Takes me right back. It gives me an appetite for destruction.
Oh, man, does it ever.
Let's let this go, man.
Woo! Yeah, let it go. Let it breathe. And here comes the bass drum. Oh.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh, take me back to the 80s. Or take me down to Paradise City.
Take me down to the Paradise City where the grass is green and the girls are pretty. Oh, won't you please take me home? Take me down to the Paradise City where the grass is green and the girls are pretty. Oh, won't you please take me home?
Oh, man. Woo! Can I do the whistle part? Can I do the whistle part?
You can do it all, buddy. You can do it all. Okay, buddy. Rick's really grooving here. Loving it.
Oh, love these guys. I call it my whistle part.
There we go.
I played guitar for like 3 months.
Which 3 months?
I was like 12.
I'll turn it up for the whistle part here.
My
It's
wrists
coming.
are too small to get.
Oh no,
Is it a whistle? What is it? It's this.
Here we go.
It's not a whistle.
Fucking A, man. My heart rate's going now.
Right?
Were they weren't playing this mornings at Z103.5.
No,
they
I don't
should
think
have
we
though.
ever played Guns N' Roses. I had the honor of seeing this band many times, but the one that stands out the most was Rock in Rio in the late 90s. It was like Planet of the Apes. People heard this song. They saw Slash up there and Axl, and they just came. It's like they came out of the woodwork. 100,000 people rushing the stage to hear Paradise City.
I've only seen them live once, but I'm glad I saw the incarnation with Slash. Because accept no substitute.
That's the right way to see them. Yeah, and Slash, one of the nicest guys in music that you'll ever meet.
Saul, what's his last name? It doesn't matter. Saul Hudson or something like that.
Something like that.
Hyman, I can't remember. But
best hair ever.
I saw him with Velvet Revolver as well.
Oh, yeah.
But Guns and fucking Roses. I have the pennant around the corner. I bought an 87 at a head shop downtown with Appetite for Destruction.
Yeah,
with
man.
87.
Nice.
Like forever I had it up, and then when the kids were little, they would be afraid to come down because of the scary skeletons. Like this would scare the shit out of them, so I had to hide it because they were spooked to come down here.
And if you follow Slash on Instagram, very, very out there posts. I don't know. Do you follow Slash?
No, I don't. I don't follow a lot of famous people. Like unless I know them. Like the most famous people I want to follow would be like Rick Campanelli.
No. Don't follow him. But this song, this band, Appetite for Distraction, the albums that this band put out, they're still doing it. You know, they've slowed right down.
Well, they don't
like
make
most
any
bands.
new music.
No new music. No.
Because that last album was not the original members. It was like a like almost like a big Axl Rose vanity project. I guess that was a Chinese Democracy.
That's the one.
They haven't done one since, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, when I look at so you had this, which just fucking blew my mind. Then they had the GNR Lies, which had Patience on it. It's like fucking. They had like Mama Kin on there, the cover for the Aerosmith song, and they had like.
November Rain, was that?
No, that's coming up with the double release. But they had, I used to love her, but I had to kill her. She bitched so much it drove me nuts, and I could still hear her complain. So, material that aged very well, right?
Yes,
Rick?
it did.
Okay.
Yes, it did.
But then we had the Use Your Illusion 1 and 2
That's
came
the
out the
one.
same day.
Oh,
Both
do you remember
great.
lining up at HMV to buy that?
See, that's the days I missed.
Oh.
That was a good example of an album. I had to get day one, right?
You had to
Those
get
were-
day one.
I remember when Versus came out from Pearl Jam. I had to get it day one. Like, those were the days,
well,
man.
you're such a huge fan of those bands. The huge fans
A lot of
had to
bands-
get it on
yes,
day one.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
I'm the same.
But even In Utero, I remember buying In Utero day one. It's like, I can't wait to get my hands on this new release. But today, it's like, I don't know what's going on with albums anymore.
They drop, just they
midnight.
surprise us. It's the drop that happens. But back in the day, we would line up for albums, for discs. We would line up.
There would be
to get
midnight releases for
midnight
albums like
release,
this. This particular album, I think.
concert tickets. You don't line up
Yeah.
for concert tickets anymore. We'd have to sleep overnight. I remember at Cops Coliseum. It's a different name now in Hamilton.
Right.
We would, and that's one of the bands I lined up for. The artist Billy Joel.
Wow.
But we would line up. We'd bring our chaise lounges or lawn chairs. Here we go. Look at this.
Yeah,
This
let him
is
finish
like
here.
on fire.
It's full throttle, right?
It
Like,
is
it's
full
just,
throttle.
let's go. This whole fucking album was great.
Makes you want to go faster in your car.
Yeah.
But slow down. Please abide by the rules and laws.
I go faster on my bike.
Now, Axel, have you heard him lately?
Not since I saw him at the Dome. I think that was like 5 years ago, maybe. But why
How was he sounding then?
struggling? He went 3 hours, and I thought
Really?
he sounded good because I had heard he was like unable to like hold the notes and stuff, and I thought he sounded pretty fucking good.
He went 3 hours.
Yeah,
eh? Wow,
they went 3 hours.
Bruce Springsteen time here.
Yeah. Have you? Well, I'm gonna hold that too. Actually, we'll hold on to our Sinatra chat, and we'll hold on to our Springsteen chat. These are like teasers of what might be coming up. But
I gave you a good mix, though. I went way back. I went current. I went here. I went there. But these are the
there's some
these are
hip
the
hop in
songs
here.
that-
I'm
oh,
looking.
yeah,
There's
man.
classic rock. There's not. I'll be honest. There's like a new song on your list would be like 20 years old now, maybe. But
Are you serious?
but there's this next jam I'm gonna kick out has a member that I met at the Moonshine Cafe in Oakville a couple of months ago.
All right.
So I'm interested to talk about these.
Was it
guys.
an Oakville band?
You're gonna find out
A
when I kick
Canadian
it out
band?
next. I'm
Okay,
kicking it out next.
okay.
But here, maybe let's do this before I kick out your third jam. When you arrived, you talked about Matt and Jared from the Moment Lab.
I did. Great
Talk
guys.
about Matt
Yeah.
and Jared, and then, I'll talk about Matt and
You
Jared.
talk about them first, and I'll add some things. Great guys, though.
How do you know Matt and Jared from the Moment Lab?
Just met them for the first time today. We gave
Like
each
in
other a
person?
hug. In person.
They're
Well-
here?
Well, they're here in Toronto. Yeah, they're working on signing a new artist. Yeah.
Like a
Oh, yeah.
musical artist?
A musical artist.
Okay, because I have somebody that I want to introduce them to on
okay.
Friday. A big fucking celebrity. I'll tell you the name right after we finish recording.
This could be the next Adele, okay? Yeah! You tell him,
Don't
Axel.
aim too high, right? This is like when they said, Luke Shen is the next Bobby Orr, right? And one day he'll win a playoff round. Okay.
I've been working with the Moment Lab guys for
Toronto.
2 years now. They're in Montreal. I'm here, local, and we've been doing a lot of phone calls, lots of Zooms, but I finally got to meet them today for the first
That's
time.
wild
Matt
because
and Jared, yeah.
it's funny because they're proud sponsors of this
Yes.
program. They specialize in PR. They have a team of experienced professionals who know how to craft stories that resonate with your audience and generate positive media coverage. So is it fair to say that Rick Campanelli is working with the Moment Lab?
I am working with them.
Is that how you met
through
the great
Bodog. Yeah.
through Bodog? Did you meet the great Stu Stone? Because I would
Yes.
see you and
Yes.
Stu
Yes.
on Instagram Live and things like that.
Stu and I used to do a top 10 list monthly for Bodog. Now, I've never met Stu live and in person, but I've
Oh,
met
my
him
goodness.
via Zoom. Stu, you're another one. I got to meet him.
Okay, here's my copy of
Yeah. Oh, wow,
the Blowing Up. It's called. It features Jamie Kennedy.
Yeah.
I don't like Jamie Kennedy's font is really big.
Let's see this.
And Stu
Yeah.
Stone's font is small.
Yeah, what's
But,
up with that?
I mean, I
they
follow
are.
Jamie
Yeah.
Kennedy's career, and I mean, Stu's been on this show, I think, the second most out of anyone in the history of Toronto Mike.
That's what the Moment Lab guys were telling me, yeah.
So Stu, dear friend, of course, and everybody knows he was here for Pandemic Fridays. We did, 76 of those in a row, wow. And he was also part of Toast before Acoy and Vance showed up. But to me, there's likability and
there is, yeah.
Likability. Stu beats Jamie Kennedy by 100-fold in my humble. I think Jamie, and he's not going to hear this, but I think Jamie is like an anchor on Stu Stone. Like, to me, Stu Stone's light shines brightest without Jamie Kennedy.
My youngest boys are big fans of Stu Stone because they watch the Magic School Bus.
Of course.
And they can pick out Stu's voice on there. That's an old production.
What about My Pet Monster?
That one too.
Yeah, and he's in Donnie Darko.
Donnie Darko.
But now he makes his own film. So the way I've known him for a while now, but he seems to be like he's been busy lately filming Dark Side of the Ring. Like he's producing or directing Dark Side of the Ring.
I heard he's traveling to 21 different cities in the next 30 days, directing this documentary on wrestling.
Yeah, Dark Side of the Ring for Vice, I think.
Yep.
And at some point, I'm sure he'll kind of come up for air, and then he'll probably direct another movie with his brother-in-law. He's part of 5'7" films,
yes,
I think we call them.
Right.
So you know Stu through Matt and Jared, basically.
That's right. Yeah, great bunch of guys.
So Stu works with Matt and Jared at the Moment Lab. Rick Campanelli works with Matt and Jared at the Moment Lab, and it's more than Matt and Jared there. They have a whole big team, but those are the two guys we talk to. And if anyone out there,
and now you work,
and I'm working with them. And if anyone needs to give their business a boost, let me introduce you to Matt and Jared, and they'll take care of you and help you achieve your PR goals. Okay, amazing. I'm going to kick out a jam, and then I have more gifts for you.
Yeah, I'm noticing this one right here. This,
that's Roxanne!
I was thinking the Police.
You almost put Police on this.
After sending you that list, and how can I forget something from Zenyatta Mondetta? But we have the Kings. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, wow. What a song.
Talk to me about the song. They're a Vancouver band, right?
Vancouver via Oakville.
Yes, and that's how... Okay, so I'll just tell you off the top before we hear Rick talk about the Kings. Yeah, Oakville is where they form, actually. Okay, so part of them from Vancouver, but they form in Oakville. The guy I bumped into at the... it was a Rob Proust concert. So Rob Proust was the keyboardist with Spoons.
Right. Yeah.
Mr. Zero was there.
Mr. Zero.
I met Mr. Zero from the Kings.
From the Kings. Here's a band that, let me take you back. My dad and mom drove us to our soccer games, our soccer practices, and there was this was back in the day. There's 4 of us. I've got 3 older siblings. CKOC was the radio station in Hamilton.
Right.
CKOC. Remember
1150.
CKOC? 1150. Look at you, man. They would play music like this. They would play Seals and Crofts. They would play all these songs that, wow, like this is music. And first time listening to this band, I didn't know they were just down the road from me in Hamilton, Oakville. It's like a 20-minute drive. I was blown away. And here's another of those, and you don't get much of this these days. It's like 2 songs smashed together.
Yes.
Queen, We Are the Champions, We Will Rock You. There's a lot of
Green Day had this too, right?
Green Day had a couple songs smashed together. This is The Beat Goes On, switching to Glide, right? This Beat Goes On. I thought it was going to be quite long if I added both those songs, so I chose the latter of the 2. And is this a song that whenever I hear it, I belt it out? I sing at the top of my voice.
I love the CKOC memories because Rob Proust is from Burlington.
Yeah.
And that was his station. And he comes in once a month. He comes on because we do these Toast episodes. Oh, for sure I will. For sure I will.
Spoons, yeah.
And then we'll talk, and it's like, so if you're a Toronto guy, you were listening to 1050. But if you were maybe, like you said, Hamilton or Burlington, you were at a CKOC guy, 1150.
100 points up at 1150. Yeah. But that's a great song. And I who knew? I didn't know that was a Canadian band growing. I thought, that big sound.
Yeah.
I thought, American for sure, but no, just down the.
Isn't that a great
street.
thing? Like this happened to me. I was listening to CFTR.
Yeah.
And they played a song. They said, "This is Let Your Backbone Slide" by Maestro Fresh West. Okay,
Yes.
I instantly loved it. And I had no idea he's from Scarborough.
Yeah.
And then you find out, you know what I almost literally said? Nah, this kid can't be from Canada.
But doesn't it make you that much prouder? Like the fact that these artists are Canadian.
Right.
So proud. And that song was early 80s. I was just getting into my groove in learning and loving music thanks to my older siblings who introduced me to so many amazing artists like the Stones
1980.
and The Who and David Bowie and Jimi Hendrix. And 80 was another, the Kings were another band that I just fell in love with. And that song in particular.
Well, let's roll right into now. I'm kind of excited. So I'm going to get to the fourth jam. Then you're going to get some more gifts here. But let's change
it's
things
not
up.
about the gifts. I just want to talk music with you. But I will take more lasagna. Oh, not saying no to lasagna and this classic song.
Might be your most recent jam, actually.
Yeah, I'm out at Brooklyn. Now I'm down in Tribeca,
I'm an old
right
soul.
next to the Narrow. But I'll be hood forever. I'm the new Sinatra. And since I made it here, I can make it anywhere. Yeah, they love me everywhere. I used to cop in Harlem. All of my Dominicanos right there up on Broadway. Pulled me back to that McDonald's. Took it to my stash spot, 560 State Street. Catch me in the kitchen like a Simmons whipping pastry. Cruising down A Street, off-white Lexus. Driving so slow, but BK is from Texas. Me, I'm out that Bed-Stuy, home of that boy Biggie. Now I live on Billboard, and I brought my boys with me. Say what up to Tata, still sipping my top. Sitting courtside, Knicks and Nets give me high five. Nigga, I be spiked out, I could trip a referee. Tell by my attitude that I most definitely from.
Oh, thanks for leaving Alicia Keys in there. Yeah. Oh, what a beautiful song that
This is the only version I listen to because there is versions like there's a Alicia Keys version
Yes.
without Jay-Z.
Yes.
Jay-Z, I'm sorry. We're in Canada here. But no, you need this version.
Yeah, this is the version. Jay-Z, oh my goodness. Yeah, so this is the most recent of the songs?
I think
Wow.
so.
Yeah.
Don't hold me to it,
Well-
but just cursory glance, I believe so.
You told me to pick my favorite songs, and these are the songs
Right.
that will go on in infamy in my life. Now, have me back in 20 years, I'll give you some Ed Sheeran. I'll give you some Taylor
You know what? I
Swift.
think you're wrong.
I'll
I
give you
think
some
you're
dra-
going to go right
I-
back to being a teenager regardless of when you come on.
It's it's
in
nostalgia.
10 years, you're
Yeah.
still going to be kicking out Paradise City by Guns N' Roses.
You're probably right. I chose Jay-Z because he was one of the last artists I interviewed on MuchMusic. It was him, it was Tommy Lee, it was a bunch of big names, but Jay-Z, Kanye, Rihanna came in together for a Much live.
Wow.
And Jay-Z, we parted. He gave me the nicest gift, and he said the nicest things. And this guy is on top of the world. Everyone loves Jay-Z, and he's so talented. But he said, Rick, a lot of people, and you know this, Mike. A lot of people can do interviews, but not a lot of people can have conversations with you. And Jay-Z
Right.
made that comment, and he let me know. He looked me in the eyes, and then he signed a pair of his sneakers for me. And
Wow.
man, I just love this guy.
You still have those sneakers?
Oh yeah, I'm not getting rid of those sneakers. Yeah,
Wow.
I'm not even giving them to you to put on top of your Palmas box.
I'd wear them.
Yeah,
I go
you
for
would
a
wear
bike
them.
ride
Yeah.
in Jay-Z. I don't care if they're too big for me. I'm wearing these sneakers here. Love it that you. So that's like the last huge star that you interviewed on MuchMusic.
Yeah, that was probably late 2004, early 2005, and I left a few months after that, and missed doing that every day since. You know, having bands. Sometimes multiple bands come in live to do interviews.
Yeah.
But Jay-Z brings his friend Kanye. He brings his friend Rihanna. And now, look at all of them. Like, they're like all...
Well, Kanye's a whole different discussion.
Well, sure,
but,
of course.
yeah, Rihanna, oh my goodness gracious. It feels like, she's still relatively young, but it feels like Rihanna's been around forever because she started so young. So she's going to have that Taylor Swift effect where it's like,
Yeah.
she's been around 30 years. What do you mean she's in her 40s? It's going to be like, that doesn't add up to me. By the way, speaking of age, real quick, Rick, a lot of people, and I noticed this when I met you in the driveway, feel that you might be Benjamin Buttoning,
No.
like aging in reverse. But, we're just to
appreciate
give you a
that.
frame. Like, I know you're older than me. You don't look older than me, but I know you are. But would you reveal your age just so we know when you're a teenager?
No, I'm 53, January 5th, 1970, and I sold my soul to Moses Neimer many, many years ago. He made the deal with me, and thank you, Moses.
There's a picture of you hanging in the attic. That ages, but you don't.
I
But
appreciate the compliment. I feel 95 inside. The wear and tear is happening exponentially over the years, and no, I appreciate the compliments, but my parents to thank, I guess. I don't know.
have you ever received an offer to come to Zoomer? Like,
Not yet. Not yet. Zoomer. Yeah.
I mean, even John Gallagher got an offer to come to Zoomer. It didn't last very long, but if John Gallagher's getting the offer,
last longer than 13 months.
Oh boy, I don't think it got that long.
In the heart of Liberty Village. I love the area.
Well, that was the old YTV building.
Yes.
So it's kind of, if you're a Toronto historian, as I am, it's important to note there.
Sirius is around there too, or was
Yeah,
around there?
they're on Liberty Street.
Liberty Street, yeah.
And then to bring it full circle, because Tessa Campanelli, who fucked Joey Jeremiah behind Caitlin Ryan's back, Joey Jeremiah went on to do a series post Degrassi called Liberty Street. It had Liberty Street in the title. Do you have any memory of this? Where he basically lived in a loft on Liberty Street. And I always thought, so when I watched this show, and Reiner Schwartz was in this thing, like radio guys know Reiner Schwartz's name. He was at CFNY for a little bit with Danny Elwell and the gang there during that crazy period. But like, it made Liberty Street look so fucking cool. Like, it just looks so fucking cool. And today, like, who could afford to live there? These kids that we saw on that show, kids of whatever it's called, Liberty Street, could never afford to live in Liberty Street.
Yeah, that's true.
How does anyone afford to
anywhere
live in this city? What's going on here? That's another conversation.
That's why I had to move out back in 2017. It was a sad day, but
where did you move to?
Moved to Burlington. Closer.
So you can't afford Burlington anymore.
To
like,
my
that was
roots.
because you got out there in 2017. Like, I feel like that's also too expensive. I feel everywhere's expensive.
It's
you can't go
all
to Barrie. I just had Lance Chilton on. Okay, do you remember Lance? Yeah.
Of course I remember Lance. I was working as a floor director on InfoFax, Rapid Fax, whatever you want to call it, Rapid Fax. Lance Chilton, Monica Diol.
Of course.
Lance Chilton.
And he's a real estate agent in
He is now,
like the Barrie area.
Yeah.
Oro Medonte.
Well, he went up north to the new VR.
Right.
All those years ago.
Moses tapped him on the shoulder and said, you're a family man now. You're not cool enough to be here. Let's put you in Barrie. And he's been there ever since. So shout out to Lance Chilton. That's last week.
Oh, I love Lance. Love Lance.
I'm giving you mentioned no police songs on your jam.
You know what? I was driving.
If you could, which one would you have kicked out if you could kick out a police jam?
In 1980, let's talk. It was 1981, and it was my 11th birthday. I received 2 albums, 2 of my favorite albums, and I forgot to put one on the list. It was Zenyatta Mondetta from The Police. Don't Stand So Close to Me, one of my favorite songs. I left that off the list, but I did add another song onto that list of another album that I received at my 11th party. It was The Game. It was Queen. And Queen, to me, are one of those bands that they'll always be on a pedestal. Queen did some amazing things in music. Freddie Mercury, as we all know. And talk about epic songs that these guys threw together. Like, every song was different. You fell in love with every song. And I still remember to this day watching Live Aid back in, that was 80 as well. 85, mid-80s. And Freddie and Queen getting up on stage and just blowing everybody away.
Wow, no, it was epic, and
you remember?
Of course, I remember. Yeah, absolutely. That was a big day. It was and it was Phil Collins, I think, who took the Concorde from like London. He was at Wembley Stadium, and then he went to Philadelphia.
That's right.
And he sucked at both, but that's another story.
God bless Bob Geldof for putting that all together. Live Aid, what a project.
Well, without Bob Geldof, then we don't get, at some point, Tears Are Not Enough. And everyone who listens to Toronto Mike knows how important that jam is to this program. Okay, so I'm kicking out another jam. Well, there's lots more to go. This is amazing. But I am going to give you a wireless speaker. So that's what that is. So that I have a review. The aforementioned Rob Pruce wants to review this wireless speaker on Toronto Mike. So next month he's going to review it because he took it home and used it, and he has a review. But
this is a speaker. This looks like an eraser that you used in grade school on the chalkboard.
That's a speaker, man. That's no 8-tracks. Well, maybe you can Bluetooth your 8-track player to that thing. But
thank you, my man.
That's courtesy. It's not just from me. That's from Moneris.
Thanks, Moneris.
And I want to shout out FOTM Al Grego because he's the award-winning host of a podcast that you should listen to, Rick. In fact, you should listen to it on that speaker. It's called Yes, We Are Open. There's a poster
right down here. I see it.
Season 4 dropping now. Season 4. It's better than ever. Al took 3 seasons to, reach his stride here, and he's kicking ass. He's already an award winner. So
Canadian
how can you get any better?
Podcast Awards.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
They actually, that's a logo you don't find on the Toronto Mike poster, the Canadian Podcast Award winner. But
Not yet.
Not yet. I guess it's only year 11. I'm sure That's like in TV world, that would be like I'm in my 50th year.
Maybe
here.
the
It's
Lifetime
like Rawhide
Achievement
or whatever.
podcast award. Yeah,
The
but
Podfather Award.
I love
Okay.
the neon, though, that he's going with
Yeah,
there.
he's cool guy. So, yes, we are open, available wherever you get your podcast. Inspiring stories from small business owners. And if you're an entrepreneur like me or a small business owner, you'll get just so freaking, can I swear on the Maneras segment? Freaking inspired by Yes, We Are Open Season 4. Again, hosted by FOTM Al Grego. And since I mentioned Al, I'm just going to tell people, if you want to meet Al in person, get a selfie with Al Grego, okay, and his beautiful beard. He's going to be at TMLX 12, which is taking place May 11th at 6 p.m. That's less than a month from now. So if you want the map, where will we be hiding out, the FOTMs, in Marie Curtis Park? It is 6 p.m., May 11th. Write me, Mike at TorontoMike.com. I'll send you the map, or just Google it, TMLX12. You'll find the map on TorontoMike.com. But yeah, we're getting together for some sneaky beverages. Speaking of which,
Sneaky beverages.
you're taking home with you some fresh craft beer from Great Lakes Brewery, Rick.
Oh, Great Lakes, good people. I like great people. Let's just say thank you very much. And I love them. I love the packaging. I love all the art. So colorful. You got your lumberjack there. You got your octopus over here, and great taste.
Their artistic director was a recent guest on Toronto Mike, because I did this 640 Toronto episode at the Great Lakes Brew Pub at Jarvis and Queens Quay.
Yeah.
And Fabian is his name.
Fabian.
And Fabian came on the mic and talked to us a little bit about
great
these
stuff.
artistic designs. So
And I'm a sucker for the packaging of items. I'll walk down an aisle. If I like the look of something, that's going to be mine. I'm going to be paying lots of money for it. And this song right here, oh, wow. Hey, you're a wild honey child. I'm out of control. Every time you are near me, I'm a wolf child, baby. And I'm howling for you. My heart beats faster. This song right here, can I just say, The Cult, Wildflower. I was in a band. Well, I was trying to make it in a band in high school.
Yes.
This was one of the songs that the band wanted me to try to learn to sing. Now listen,
Yeah.
I'm not the best singer. I try. I like to sing.
I'd like to hear you sing.
I've been doing it all show. But apparently
You have a backing track.
the father of one of the band members came down to a jamming session one night, a rehearsal, can we say, heard me singing I Will Follow by U2 and Wildflower, The Cult, and hence I was no longer in the band. I just couldn't do what Ian Astbury was doing. I couldn't
Right.
do what Bono was doing.
He's got a Hamilton history,
He
right,
does.
Ian?
He does. Yeah, he worked at Stelco. He went to Glendale High School. Go Bears.
Is that your high school?
No, I went to
Oh.
St. Mary's. I went to
Okay.
the Catholic, the separate
Yeah.
school. Yeah, but yeah, his family brought him over from England, somewhere.
Somewhere
Was it
in England.
Manchester? I think Manchester. And he spent a few years in Hamilton. Yeah, even working at Stelco.
I know
For a bit.
he
Yeah.
became friendly with Chris Shepard.
Yes.
Do you know where Chris is at?
No.
No one does.
Okay, I thought you did. Okay.
I know. I was hoping you could tell me.
Chris Shepard, baby. Oh man, but The Cult, and this is one of the songs I could have given you a handful of Cult songs that are my favorites. The Cult, Love, my first cassette that I ever bought.
Wow.
The Cult, Love. Remember that one?
Of course. Of
Oh.
course. I love the Cult too.
This
In
is,
fact, I would
this
say
is from
there was-
Electric, I believe. But
when I was in grade 9, I don't think there was a bigger band in my high school than the Cult. I think that was number one. Like, you just went around, what are you listening to these days? I think it was the Cult was number one.
they were rock stars. They were giving us what Jimi Hendrix and the Doors and the Stones.
Well, speaking of the Doors, he went
Yeah.
out to sing for the Doors.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He was,
With
maybe he's still
yeah,
doing it.
Yeah.
With Manzarek or whatever.
Yeah, that's right. He did. Ian stepped in. Yeah, but no. This band, I was all over them, and I was just entering high school, mid '80s. You're right. They were everywhere. The music was everywhere, and how cool was this band.
Oh, very cool.
Like, not just the sound, the look, everything about them. These guys are rock stars. They're still doing it. Still performing.
Quick note from Marcusor on the live stream. Again, we have a pirate stream. This song, you can't play these songs on Facebook or YouTube because we get knocked down for playing this unlicensed music. And there's no way to actually license them, so you're kind of fucked. But Marcusor writes, he wanted to buy a white Falcon like Billy Duffy's, and COVID raised the prices by another $1,000, and I guess he tapped out. But and he says Ian babysat an old friend of his at some point. So lots of local cult
while he was in the cult.
Well, I think it's pre-cult. I think that was pre-cult. You have to
he babysat me too when I went to go see his concert when I was like 14.
That's true. That's true. And then Kev says, "Love was huge for me. They blew the roof off Massey Hall in what year are we here? 85.
What a venue to see this band."
And he says the White Falcon was gorgeous. So wow, love talking music with Rick Campanelli. Let me think if I've given you all your gifts. I think I've given you all your gifts.
You've given me more than enough gifts, man. I'm not here for the gifts. You know
you're not.
Right?
I know you're not.
I'm here
for
for the music.
You're like Liz
As
Braun.
you are.
So Liz Braun. Do you know Liz Braun?
Yeah.
Okay. You ever met Liz Braun?
Never met.
Liz should have had more entertainment articles about Rick the Temp. Okay. So Liz is here for her exit interview. This is like 2 days ago, maybe. Was it 2 days ago?
Oh, wow.
What day's today? I think it was Monday. It's all blurred to me now. Yeah, it's Monday. So Liz is here. We do our thing. It's our second time here, and she just, like, we have good chemistry, just like you and I have, actually, and it was great. And then afterwards, she's telling me, like, she's looking at me, I was like, you don't have to give me lasagna. You don't have to do this. And I said, Liz, these wonderful partners of Toronto Mike want you to take home that lasagna, because the next time you come on, you talk about how you, Mr. Italian, deems that the greatest lasagna you can buy from a store.
I've tried many lasagnas out there, okay, but Palma's, what they're doing in Palma's kitchen, it's just like, it brings me back to like Nona's kitchen from back in the 70s for me anyway.
So, so you are leaving with your beer and your lasagna and everything. And Marcusor has come back to tell us, no, that was when Ian lived in Hamilton. So that's a Hamilton Ian story.
So
about
when he was going to Glendale, I guess when he was when he was a bear. I dated a girl from Glendale, but never got to meet Ian from Glendale. Oh, man.
Let me know if you know where Chris Shepherd is.
I just hear these sounds right here from the Unforgettable Fire album. One of my favorites of all time. I still see that poster hanging. I was in bunk beds at home growing up with 3 siblings. I was in the bunk bed and the poster of that castle. Yeah. The Unforgettable Fire. My first big stadium show, U2. The Unforgettable Fire tour.
What venue?
The Gardens.
There you go.
Oh. This just puts you in a whole different mood.
Quick question. Did you ever go to the Chin picnics?
Yes. Many years ago.
Oh, for the bikini contest.
Because I did do some work with Shin at morning radio as well. I volunteered at Shin every Friday for a good 2 years.
See, we're learning more about you in the jam kicking here. But back to Bono.
This band here, I tell you, I started playing guitar for many reasons, but I wanted to
pick up girls.
I wanted to replicate what the Edge was doing. I wanted to play guitar because so many of my rock heroes were playing guitar, and as I said earlier in the show, I played the instrument for a good 3 or 4 months. I just couldn't get my little wrist, my left wrist here. See how tiny my left hand is? I just couldn't get it around the neck to do all the fancy things that the Edge was doing. I couldn't.
But Elton John didn't give up on piano because he had the short, stubby fingers.
That's right. He didn't give up. See, well, I guess I'm a quitter, unlike Elton John. But I gave up guitar in high school, but I took up drums, and I stuck with the drums for a while.
I had the drummer. Yeah, just the other day I had a drummer down here with Glue Leg. Do you remember Glue Leg?
Oh my gosh, Glue Leg, yeah.
The drummer for Glue Leg was sitting in that very seat right there. Yeah.
I forget the young man's name, but I remember the band, yeah.
Yeah. I had them in my base.
They were right here in front of you. But
I got the nicest note. We shouted out Glue Leg during the Liz Braun episode, which is the most recent episode. And I got the most lovely note. So I'm going to make sure to tell everybody that it is Carlos Alonso is the founding member of Glue Leg, but Christian Simpson is the drummer I'm talking about. So
you're bringing me back.
Well, Glue Leg, the funny thing about Glue Leg, before we get back to you too, is that, and I said this to Liz, but they had to go broke in the 90s trying to be a rock band in Canada, go off and do completely different careers where they made real money, and then they could afford to be rock stars again. So that's the Canadian
Only in Canada.
Story. Only in Canada. Yeah. Wow, anyways, great guys. I had nice comments from both Carlos and Christian. They loved their Glue Leg deep dive, and I love doing it. So that's episode 1238. This is 1240. So your first big rock band concert is U2 at Mayfield Gardens.
The Unforgettable Fire. I'm trying to remember. Lone Justice. Lone Justice opened up. Remember the band Lone Justice? Female singer.
This might be the 5 years you got on me. Like that 5 years that you think, oh, that's nothing. But actually, like if you're like 14, 15, I'm 10 and oblivious to this.
Well, you were into what at 10 back
I was
then?
listening to 680 CFTR, which means it would be a lot. Like it would be like Madonna.
Yeah.
I did like Phil Collins.
They played U2?
Yes, no,
Sure they
I was
played
into.
U2.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you weren't there yet.
I wasn't going to the shows, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But I was going to like Ontario Place Forum shows.
I had begged my parents, my older siblings, take me to a concert with you. Take me to a concert with you. No to Kiss when I was 7 at the Gardens. No to these bands. No to those bands. But when U2 came to town and I was 14 and they were one of my favorite bands of all time, I made sure I went. Now, it was with my older siblings, but I was there.
Amazing. That's amazing that you got to do that. Did you see the, I believe it's Netflix. Is it? Maybe it's Disney. I can't remember where it was.
Disney with Dave
Where is that? Is that Disney?
Yeah, I think it's on Disney.
Yeah, it's Disney Plus.
Haven't seen it yet, but I want to.
Okay, you'll love it. David Letterman and U2, and the kind of reimagining songs and talking about the band and the history. I loved it, and I was a huge U2 guy. So where did I drop off? After Joshua Tree, there was the live. What's
the whole Lemon, the Octung Baby?
No, before Octung Baby. What was the one before Octung Baby? And why am I drawing a blank on it? Hold on here.
After Joshua Tree?
Yeah. I'm cheating now because cheat.
There's so many.
Yeah, Rattle and Hum. I don't know where that came from. So I also loved Rattle and Hum because they had a bit of a reimagination of a couple of their big Joshua Tree songs that I really liked with the choir and everything. Still haven't found what I'm looking for.
Were you at the Joshua Tree show at the Skydome just a few years back? That was my buddy.
A few years back because Joshua Tree from '87 was it like a reunion show?
They only played the Joshua Tree album.
I've never seen U2 live.
My buddy will never see U2 again because he doesn't have to. That was his favorite album. He says, I love to see U2 anytime because they're always reinventing themselves and always putting on a great show. But wait, you've never seen U2?
No, I've never seen U2 live. And now I'm at a point where like I wouldn't pay the money it would take to see U2, so I'm tapping out. What do you think of Discotheque? Because there's an FOTM who deems Discotheque, the song, his favorite song. Forget U2 song, but his favorite song of all time. And we jokingly shit on that song because I don't particularly like Discotheque compared to the other material in the catalog. But what do you think of Discotheque?
I love a lot of what U2 does, and they were always changing, different sounds. What can we expect next? My U2 love came from, October. It came from the Unforgettable Fire, Boy, all that stuff. And that's another story. Like I was trying to hit the I Will Follow. Yeah, that's the one. Walk Away. But
that was their first.
I
big
just couldn't do it.
Hit.
I wanted to be Bono. I wanted to be U2 back like in the early '80s, mid '80s. I just couldn't get. Who could get there? Only 4 guys could ever get there. And that was U2 themselves. And I finally got to meet them briefly at a show on MuchMusic. They were leaving the show that they were doing at the ACC and making their way to MuchMusic, where George did the interview, Strombo. But I was at the ACC sort of greeting them as they came off stage.
Wow.
Remember, high fives to the Edge, Larry Mullins Jr. And it was so great.
I once went to a Pearl Jam show where Bono and the Edge were sitting on the stage, I guess this is. I want to say it's Scotia. I guess it was ACC. That was Scotiabank Arena. And I know Bono came out to sing
something with Eddie.
Yeah, something with Eddie and Neil Young. jam.
Neil
with
Young
Eddie.
was there too?
No, he
No,
wasn't there.
jeez.
But they were singing a Neil Young jam, and it was fantastic. Okay, so now I'm going to kick this out. You just kicked out a big European band.
Can I, one more story
Anything
about you two.
Go.
I was the music director for my grade 8 graduation at Christ the King Catholic Elementary School. Again, this is a grade 8 graduation. So I was involved. I was responsible for putting all the music together. The one song that I don't know, Sister Mary wouldn't allow me to play was Sunday Bloody Sunday. And I said, "Sister, it's not a rebel song."
Right. Right.
It's a Sunday.
It might be the most
Bloody
important
Sunday.
song, too. That might be U2's most important
Right?
song.
Right.
Absolutely.
New Year's Day.
By
Sunday
the way, speaking of
Bloody
important
Sunday.
songs, I don't know why I was blanking on the name, but it was Rockin' in the Free
Rockin'
World.
in the Free World, yeah.
That
Yeah.
Bono and Eddie Vedder were performing that night I was watching the program.
That would have
show.
been so amazing to see that
It was.
live.
It
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
It was fucking.
I don't
fucking
blame
great.
you for blanking. You got,
I know,
you
it's
got
fine.
millions of songs
Well,
in your
also,
head right now.
I might be brain damaged in my defense, so that's my excuse now when I'm fucking up. What's the name of this? What's the name of that? I might be brain damaged. Okay, so let's kick out that. You just kicked out a huge jam from a European band. Okay, one of the biggest bands on the planet. But this band might be a bigger European band, and it just so happens this is one of my very favorite songs from this band.
Okay. Oh. So many songs, but this one, something special about it, right?
Wow.
I see a red door and I want it painted black. No colors anymore, I want them to turn black.
I see the girls walk by dressed in their summer clothes. I have to turn my head until my darkness goes.
I see a line of cars and they are painted black. With flowers and my love.
So many artists, so many
never
bands
to come
have
back.
covered this song. That just goes to show you what an amazing freaking song this is.
This
Painted
just
Black,
came up,
the
though,
Stones.
that Bob Willett, who now programs for a chorus station in Kingston, Ontario. Okay, Bob Willett, he's on the show with Rob Bruce, actually, Toast. We called him Bingo Bob when he was producing Humble and Fred. Now, Bob Willett tells me that, because they have to play CanCon, certain percentage
Yeah.
has to be Canadian. One of the moves by Canadian bands like Gob
Gob. I was just-
and more. I'm trying to think.
And
There are
way
other
more,
Canadian bands
way
that have
more.
done this, where the Canadian band will cover a song like Paint It Black and get a lot of radio play because all these rock stations need to play something to get to their CanCon requirements.
That's so
Like, that's a move. But that Gob, I remember the Gob cover, but there is another Canadian band, it'll come to me in a minute. I might have to cheat again. That covered Paint It Black as well. But this first, I just want to ask you if you remember this too. Again, you have 5 years on me, but it's not that many years. Do you remember?
Obviously, I don't remember when the song first came out, but
no.
late 60s. But my older brothers
Yeah.
introduced me the music of the Stones and on vinyl, on 8-track tape,
So
or
can I
whatever it
ask
was.
you-
Yeah.
Was it Hot Rocks, the double album? So, because this is my introduction to Rolling Stones was, it was like from 64 to 71, the best songs from the greatest hits of the Rolling
course,
Stones, basically. It had everything you can imagine. Like, I actually, I'm not sure I bought a Rolling Stones album since, but I love
You don't
Hot
have
Rocks.
Steel Wheels?
You know what? I think I did have Steel Wheels because I did like Steel Wheels. That's a whole thing. Me and Stu Stone used to have this argument where I was outside the venue because I was working the CNE in '89, and Steel Wheels came through and played the CNE Grandstand. But Stu saw the Stones on that same tour at the Dome. They played both the CNE Grandstand, and I guess that's August or something, or maybe early September.
Wow.
And then I guess in December, they come back to Toronto in the same tour
Indoor.
to play the Dome.
Let's play the Dome.
So he would say, "Mike, you're misremembering. That was at the Dome." And I'd be like,
No?
"Stu fucking
Yeah.
Stone, listen to my words. I was working the X, and I was on my break. I went and I stood by the grandstand and I listened to the Steel Wheels. So, like, this is a vivid memory. I'm not fucking this up. We were both right.
In a matter of months? They
Yeah,
did
like from like August
CNE
to
and then
December,
And
I
how
guess.
many bands do that? Like, not many, like a handful maybe, but one of the biggest bands in the world will do that. Now, when I saw them on one of their comeback tours or shows, listen, I wish I was alive in
The
'67.
steel wheelchairs.
But
Okay.
but I remember Keith Richards
Yeah.
stumbling and falling down,
Wow.
and he couldn't get back up
Oh my God.
until one of the bandmates came over to help him up. But they're still doing their thing.
I mean, Watts is
They're-
dead. Shout
Well,
out to Ridley Funeral Home. So they are, well, Brian Jones died before they became really big, actually, but then they became mixed band, and the rest is history. But what I remember about Paint It Black, and when I first fell in love with Paint It Black, was it was the theme song to, do you remember the show Tour of Duty? So this is like a mid to late 80s TV show that used that version, that Rolling Stones Paint It Black, as the theme song. It was like a Vietnam show.
Yeah.
And that's when it kind of, but I had Hot Rocks, it was on there. And also fans of Full Metal Jacket might recall that they play Paint It Black at the end of that too. But what a fucking jam you're kicking out there.
Well, thank you for playing it. I gave you many.
I'm picking my favorites.
You chose
here.
your favorites.
All right,
and it's all good with me.
Here's another one of my favorite Rick Campanelli jams. I love this. My heart rate's going up right now.
Yeah, Islam national underground thunderbounds when I stop the ground. Like a million elephants, a silverback orangutan. You can't stop a train. Who wants some? Don't come unprepared. I'll be there, but when I leave there, gotta be a household name. Weatherman telling us it ain't gonna rain, so now we sitting in a drop top soaking wet. In a silk suit, trying not to sweat. Hit somersaults without the net, but this be the year that we won't forget. 1999. Everybody need anything goes. Be what you wanna be, long as you know consequences are given for living the fences. Too hot to jump in jail. Too low to dig, I might just touch hell. Hot, get a life, now they on sale. Then I might catch you a spell. Look at what came in the mail. I'm scaling some arm and hammer. So go grill and a baby mama. Black hair lacking a back of peppers. Stack of questions with no answers. Cure for cancer, cure for AIDS. Make a nigga wanna stay on tour for days. Get back home, things are wrong. When not really, it was bad all along. Before you left ass up to a ball of power. Thoughts at 1,000 miles per hour. Hello, ghetto, let your brain breathe. Believe there's always more. Don't feel a thing out unless you play the bang. Don't leave a bang unless you plan to hit all day.
There are not many songs that you need to take a nap for after listening to them, but this is one of them.
so good.
You need to take a nap after this song. This song gets you going. Outcast.
How good were Outkast? Like, man, that was a great hip hop
I
band.
had the honor of interviewing them once in Atlanta. Big Boy, Andre 3000. Those guys are the coolest you'll ever meet. And the music that they create, it's so unique. Who's making music like this? I mean, like, what year did this come out? Like, it's still so relevant today. This is like early 2000s? But Bombs Over Baghdad, Outkast.
2000 on the nose.
2000 on the nose. 23
In the year
years ago.
2000. I wrote about that show, so I loved watching Late Night with Conan O'Brien. And it was appointment viewing.
Flashlights.
Yes,
Faces.
exactly. The year 2000, like we just did there. And I loved the bits. I loved Conan. And I loved
The Masturbating Bear.
the Masturbating Bear. I loved the Max Weinberg 7, which, spoiler alert,
man.
might come back in a moment.
man.
Okay, spoiler alert. Get ready for that. But Andy Richter, I loved him as the co-host. Like, that was, and then I realized, like, so at some point I fell off. Andy left, and I fell off the Conan O'Brien show. Although I saw him live. They came here in 2003, and I saw them live. But
Well, he was going out after his acting career, right, Andy?
yes,
He left to do some acting.
He left to be an actor. Anyway, he did that, and then I kind of tailed off, and then I realized I never watched Late Night again. Like, I actually haven't watched any late night TV, and
I'm with you. I'm with you on that. When Conan left and stopped doing it, well, Letterman for me
But
as
Letterman
well.
first, which
Yeah,
is where you kind of,
Letterman
that's where
first,
I think I literally at TorontoMike.com, I wrote about this today, so I kind of ran through it all. But Letterman introduces me to Late Night, and I'm like, this guy's irreverent and cool, and I like the guests. Then Conan takes over that spot because Letterman goes to CBS to compete against the Tonight Show. Then I'm like, whoa, this is for me. It's like 93 or something like that.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
just loved it. And in the year 2000 is when Stankonia comes out. And listen to this.
The double album came out after this.
With Hey Ya and all that. Yeah.
Which was an amazing album,
Yeah.
but there's something about Stankonia.
Yep.
In particular,
It's got
Bombs
Miss
Over
Jackson
Baghdad.
on it, one of the greatest
Yeah.
songs of the decade. So listen to this.
This is all over the place, and I love it. You're noticing a theme with my songs, right? Like, I don't like the standard, give me the 3.5-minute song and you know exactly where it's going.
You want tempo changes.
I want tempo changes.
Right.
I want you to surprise me. I want you.
Right.
I want to be dancing the whole time, singing
Sort of
along,
like
perhaps.
Franz Ferdinand, Take Me Out, how it has that first part, and then it's like a whole new song shows up, and you're like, oh, I like that first song, but what the fuck is this?
That was on my list, was it not?
Oh, I didn't see it. No, I would have pulled it.
Out? Yeah.
I didn't see it.
Or Fun. Remember how Fun used to do
right, sure.
all those different mid-tempo changes?
And that would explain a jam. Like, we're running out of jams, but there's a jam coming up which fits that to a T. It's coming. I'm going to close with it, actually. We only have 2 left, by the way.
That's all right.
But I fucking love this.
We'll have to do part 2.
And we're going to dedicate your next jam to Steve Paikin.
All right.
FOTM
Yep.
Steve Paikin. And we're going to go into it straight out of here. Speaking of tempo
Wait a
changes.
minute. Outcast to
Outcast?
Sinatra?
Where else will you hear Outcast leading into Sinatra?
It was a very good mix.
When I was 17, it was a very good year. It was a very good year for small town girls and soft summer nights.
Oh, man. Like, what artist hasn't been influenced by Old Blue Eyes? You know,
Well, we know
like
Bono was, because they
yeah.
did Under My Skin together.
Amy Winehouse.
Who you had in your 20, and I almost played it. Maybe I should have, but maybe
Stronger?
How about this? What if you come? Stronger is actually not the name of that song. It's Stronger something. But
Yeah.
you should come back and kick out the other 10
Let's do
at
it.
some point.
I would love that.
Okay,
I
we're
would
gonna
love
do
that,
that,
man.
everybody.
I'll send you another 20, and you narrow it down to 10, 5, whatever you'd like. But
Okay.
Frank Sinatra.
Or I could
is
just
a
play the
very
other
good
10.
jam. Yeah, that too.
Why complicate
I
things?
had so much fun with the assignment, though.
Love hearing that, but tell me. So yeah, a lot of artists influenced by Old Blue Eyes here, the
But
chairman
listen,
of the board. But,
I chose Frank Sinatra because to this day, I listen to Sinatra. To this day,
But
I'm
is
always
that
putting on
because
Sinatra.
you are of Italian descent? Like, is that a right of you need to do
my
that?
parents loved Sinatra. They listened to Sinatra. It was always him, Dean Martin, all the crooners were playing. And this music was loved by our grandparents, our great-grandparents. Sinatra started doing his thing as a young teenager back in the 40s, the 50s. He was cranking out kicking out the jams, let's just say.
I think it's the Tea Party. Okay,
Yeah.
no, you're like, Mike, what are you fucking talking about? You're very nice to say right because you don't know what I'm talking about. But my brain, which is damaged possibly, for the last 10 minutes has been trying to remember what's that other Canadian band that played Paint It Black besides Gob.
The Tea Party, I see
I have
what you're
been.
saying.
Who was it? It was the Tea Party. And speaking of drummers, Jeff Burrows
Jeff
from
Burrows.
the Tea Party is an FOTM like yourself, Rick.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
back to Frank, Old Blue Eyes. Frank's son, Frank Sinatra Jr., also no longer with us. Shout out to Ridley Funeral Home. He came on Humble and Fred thinking he was on the radio. Like, he thought he was on the radio, Humble and Fred. But meanwhile, Humble and Fred was just a podcast. But it was very interesting because he completely thought he was on, like, terrestrial radio. Just kind of confused.
He was there
by it all.
live?
Yeah, this is Junior, of course. But this is
Of course, yeah.
early days of Humble and Friends. We're going back
That
about
was along
10
the
years ago.
Queensway there?
Now they're on the Queensway,
Yeah,
but this
yeah.
is back on a street called 30th Street in what is that, Long Branch, I guess. But they had like a space on 30th Street.
Back when Sinatra came to town, late 80s, mid 80s, I believe, Gardens, my siblings and I bought my parents tickets to go see the show. Mike, I will never forgive myself for buying only 2 tickets to see Frank Sinatra.
Oh.
Now listen, he wasn't this, he was a lot older and he was doing his thing still. Pudgier.
That's okay.
Less
That happens
hair.
to all of us, right.
But we bought my parents tickets, and I said to my siblings as the years, why wouldn't we all go to see Frank Sinatra? I never saw
Yeah,
Frank
'cause-
Sinatra, but wow.
You know,
Frank Sinatra.
good comment coming in. We did play Bombs Over Baghdad by Outkast moments ago. And I remember being excited that Andre 3000 was going to play Jimi Hendrix in a biopic. And Kev reminds me that, like, this never happened. Maybe if it happened, it came and went. Kev is now saying maybe it came and went.
Wait a minute.
But
Did-
Andre
did it
3000, I remember at the time thinking, what great casting
Great
is
actor.
that? Yeah. Andre 3000 in a if it's a good Jimi Hendrix biopic, like that would be kind of epic. But if it came and went, I don't think it was very good. That is all. Back to Frank.
Nice ending. Beautiful ending.
I
feel
have
so
a little
bad for this.
tag.
I feel so bad for this character at the end of the song, in the autumn of his years.
So can I tag something on
Yeah,
the... So
tag,
this is
tag.
your penultimate jam.
Yeah.
And I'm playing...
Go get the cupcakes.
Something else.
Cupcakes. Cupcakes. Yes, sweet cakes for all.
Well, beer, we've had some great times. When I was 17, I drank some very good beer. I drank some very good beer I purchased with a fake ID. My name was Brian McGee. I stayed up listening to Queen when I was 17.
I
I'm
couldn't
sure Homer was
resist.
drinking a lot of beer in the autumn of his years as well. Yeah.
He liked Duff, but they couldn't get Great Lakes in in Springfield. Great Lakes is only available in Ontario. Fun fact.
Another song like Painted Black that has
Yeah.
been used in so many programs and movies and TV shows. Of course, The
All
Sopranos.
on the Watchtower? Oh, no. What are you going with? Sorry. What were you going to say?
No, it was a very good year.
Right.
Sopranos.
Because it's a very good song.
Didn't it not end season 1, or was that beginning of season 2?
I can't remember, but I will just say that it is one of my favorite shows of all time.
Glad you like it.
I love it, actually. It is officially on the Toronto Mic ranking. It is number 3.
Number 3.
My third favorite song of all time. My third favorite I'm brain damage. Show of all time.
Number
is,
1 and 2, please.
Number 1 is
Cheers.
The Wire.
The Wire.
Number 2 is 6 Feet Under.
Oh, 6 Feet Under.
And then number 3 is The Sopranos.
Sopranos.
Okay.
Wow.
But speaking of great things, many a time we've kicked out this artist on Toronto Mic. It seems to be a favorite to particularly sports writers. Like if you're maybe a sports media personality,
Okay.
if you're like if you're now between the ages of like 50 and 70,
I qualify.
yeah, you're just getting in there, sliding in there. You might kick out a jam by this artist, and this is one of the great jams by this epic artist who I'm going to probably see for the first time this coming autumn. Okay. Are you ready for your final jam, Rick?
I am ready, sir. Yeah! Woo! You've seen The Boss before.
I've never seen The Boss.
You've never
No.
seen The Boss.
But I'm going to probably...
I'm going with you. I'm
Okay.
going with you.
Come
I'm
with
going
me.
Ah.
At night we ride to mansions of glory and suicide machines. Sprung from cages on Highway 9, chrome wheel, fuel injected and stepping out over the line. Oh, maybe this town rips the bones from your back. It's a death trap. It's a suicide rap. We gotta get out while we're young. Woo. 'Cause tramps
Yeah,
like
man.
us, baby, we were born to run.
All right, Rick.
I love how you connected the two at the end there. It's the Sinatra, Stevie Van Sant, Silvio, Stevie Van Sant.
You know
of
what?
course.
I'm going to pretend I did it on purpose.
So good.
Stevie's Garage. All right. Talk to me about Bruce.
What can I say about Bruce Springsteen? There's so many songs in his library, and I had a few that I wanted to send you. I have a lot of favorites, but I think just Born to Run. This exemplifies what Bruce has been doing over the years. This song is just one of my favorite songs of all time.
Do you know, as a solo artist, he has never reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100?
I don't believe that. Is that right?
He wrote a song that reached number 1 because Manfred Mann Band had a number 1 hit with "Blinded by the Light,"
Right.
which is
Right.
a Bruce song. But
Yeah.
he peaked at number 2 on the Billboard Hot
never
with
a one?
"Dancing in the Dark" went to number 2.
I gotta take this up with the committee.
I know, but the Billboard 100 I notice is a funny little animal. But
Music Cares used to do these shows before the Grammy Awards every year, and one year they honored Bruce Springsteen, and they got a bunch of different artists to come up on stage, obviously before Bruce ended the night. All these artists would pay tribute by doing a Bruce Springsteen song. So Foo Fighters were up there, Mumford & Sons were up there. They're all doing these Bruce Springsteen songs, and I was honored to be in that room. And then Bruce comes up, and then you're in there with all the Hollywood elite just jamming out
Wow.
to Bruce Springsteen doing his thing. And this is going back maybe 10 years now. But every time Bruce comes to town, and if you know what I'm talking about, he'll stay up on stage for hours. Just hours.
Legendary
The
The stories I've heard.
And just as good as ever. I don't know if you saw recently his stage show, his Broadway show.
No.
He's up there with his piano, with his guitar, and he'll just talk. He's a storyteller.
And he's in his 70s now. And he's
I'd say mid-70s now.
Yeah, maybe 73 or so. Still kicking ass. Great jam you chose here. I'm
It was
glad
either
you
this or
picked up.
Rosalita.
These are just like, again, these are like, they're kind of like those Jim Steinman Meatloaf anthems on Bat Out of Hell. Like, these things are just over the top.
I grew up loving the anthems, the epic produced songs, and it's like this is when music was at an all-time high for me. Anyway,
So what I saved for the very end of the chat here is a few questions came in. I did a couple off the top, but there's more questions for you. Okay.
Sweet.
Mark wants to know what was that? His words. I won't even
Not
use
yours.
this word, but
Okay, yeah.
the attempt. Did Ed the Sock try to crash your Z103.5 morning show? Be honest about Ed the Sock, who is also an FOTM.
Yeah, Ed the Sock, great friend of his. We're good friends from all those years ago. He took me under his wing, under his cotton, so to speak, at MuchMusic. And I, when my co-host Sandra went on vacation for a few weeks there, I thought, you know what? I don't want to do this by myself. I want to bring my friends in, and I brought Ed the Sock in, so he could crash the party.
So you invited him to,
Yeah.
okay, so
I
there was
did.
no attempt to shoehorn
no.
himself into the Z103 mornings there. Now, okay, speaking of Ed the Sock, he's been very vocal on social media about the documentary that you talked about off the top.
Yes. Have you had Ed the Sock on with you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so Ed came on. It was very interesting how we did it because I talked to Steve Kersner, but then Steve had to go move the car or something, and then Ed crashed the interview, and I talked to Ed for a while. So I did Steve, then I talked to Ed,
Gotcha.
and then I kind of closed with Steve again. And then Steve has come on again with Leanna Kay.
Yes.
The Red.
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 Yeah.
Now, what do you think of what Ed's saying? He sort of is poo-pooing this documentary. Is it because, like, did the doc not want to talk to Ed? Like, do you have any
Well, you know,
insight? I know
Steve,
you're going to
just like I do.
Yeah.
You know Ed, just like I do. Don't call him Triumph the Insult Dog. Just don't even go there.
Speaking of Conan O'Brien.
Conan O'Brien, another great character that I love. For you to poop on, or is that for me to poop on?
No, listen,
Me. Anyway, Ed the
You're
Sock,
preaching to the choir.
I love him. You know what? You're not gonna be able to wrangle him in ever. He's gonna say what he wants to say.
But was he invited? Do you know? Was he invited to talk?
I don't know.
Because if
I
you
was-
omitted Ed the Sock, he's going to be bitter about it. Like, he might be rooting for its failure. But it is an interesting omission because I'm sure they talked to Strombo.
They talked to Strom.
They talked to Rick the Temp.
Erica M. Steve
Right.
Anthony. Michael
so why?
Williams.
It's obviously personal.
I don't
Like,
know.
we're not
what it-
stupid here, right? Like, you purposely didn't invite Steve Kersner.
Listen, I'm not the director. You'll have to have Sean on.
I'll
You should have Sean on.
I would have
I'm
Sean
just-
on, and my first question will be, what do you have against Ed the Kersner?
I'm just a fraction of that documentary, and it was an honor to be involved. I can't speak on Sean's behalf, the director, the creator of that documentary. You're going to have to bring him on and ask him. So
I will.
Why wouldn't you want Ed the Sock to be part of it? Why wouldn't you want Master T to be
It's
part
just
of it?
an
Why
interesting.
wouldn't you,
So Master T, who's also an FOTM, you just reminded me that he wasn't invited. That's also to me a glaring omission. I can't imagine a 299 Queen Street West
Well, here's the
documentary
question.
without Master T.
I know. I hear
But
you.
when
I
they
agree.
moved from 99 Queen East before your time, obviously,
Yep.
he literally wrote the moving anthem, if you will. Master T, Tony Young, is such a key part of that scene. Why? And also, unlike Ed, who can ruffle the feathers, okay? Ed's going to make enemies along the way. A lot of people hope that sock gets lost in the dryer, okay? I've heard that from people. But I've never heard anybody say a negative thing about Master T.
Master T. And a great soccer player, by the way.
Menard,
Great,
you said his
great
name
soccer.
is? Menard?
Sean Menard. Sean Menard. Yeah.
Sean Menard, if
Sean,
you're listening, come on Toronto Mike. I want to talk about your doc because this is the audience. Okay, let's face it. The Toronto Mike listenership is the target audience for a 299 document.
Canadian premiere later on this year.
Am I invited?
In the fall, in September.
Can I cover it?
Yeah,
I'm a member of the
course
media.
You should. Of course
Tell
you should.
Menard
Yeah.
all these things for me, okay, Rick? And I need to find out where Master T was in this documentary. Where's Ed the Sock?
But if you think about it, how many VJs came and went
But
along the years. But
yeah.
you're right. You it
Those are two high
didn't have Angela
profile.
Dorman on there either.
But yeah, she's more famous for Seinfeld. But although I liked her on MuchMusic as well. But okay, let's
Lisa Chung? Was it Lisa Chung?
something Chang.
Was it Chang?
Something Chang. I can't remember the first name right now, but it was definitely Chang. Okay, so Cambrio wrote in with a few quick questions
Okay,
here.
Cam,
One is,
yeah.
can you ask Rick if Bodog sent him to the World Cup?
That's a true story. I'm doing lots
Because he
of
says
work
it
with
seemed like
them.
you had a hard time getting into the games, but you were in Qatar?
No, I had a hard time getting from Dubai to
Okay.
Doha. It's a good, when you're going through
Rick
Saudi
Bodog
Arabia.
sent you to Qatar.
Yes.
Look at you.
Yes.
Look at you. Wow. Okay.
I've been doing some work with Bodog for 2 years now. Lots of social media stuff. But when there's these big sporting events like the World Cup in Qatar, they want to be there. They
Tell
want.
Bodog there's a great podcast here which doesn't have a sports
Well, you go
gambling,
through Jared
sponsor.
and Matt, the
Moment Lab.
good folks at the Moment Lab, and they might be able to help you out because
Right.
I work with them through.
Well, if you're listening, Jared and Matt, there's an email from me about a very important Zoom on Friday afternoon with a major celebrity. So let me know. Okay.
But wait, we ended that story so quick. Canada
Yeah, well,
was
I'm not over it.
there
We're not done yet.
playing in that World Cup.
I
and
watched them.
Alphonso Davies scored Canada's first
Against Croatia.
ever goal at a World Cup. Now, that's big for Canada. And Canada soccer is
But
coming.
you know what's interesting?
What's
and
interesting?
And I love that team. I actually watched them beat Honduras at BMO Field only like last month. But I love that team, and I think they're very exciting. But very, very few countries went to that World Cup and didn't get at least a point. So we went 0 and we lost 3 matches, which means we end up with 0 point. And I'm not poo-pooing it because we haven't been there since '86, and it was great to
that
see
was the
them there.
first and only time since, before this time. And then we never scored a goal.
We didn't score a goal in '86.
But they will be in Las Vegas mid-June for the CONCACAF
Yep.
Nations Cup, Mexico, Canada, U.S., and Panama.
Right.
I'll be there.
And in hindsight, our group in Qatar, it was the group of death because 2 countries in our group made it to the semifinals, right? So
That's
that's
a great
unbelievable.
point.
That's
That's a
Croatia
great
and
point.
Morocco.
That's right.
And it turns out the team we should have beat, which we almost did actually, was
Morocco?
Belgium.
No,
No,
Belgium?
Morocco killed us, but beat us badly. But there's an own goal in there, I think. But Belgium, it turns out,
The
and
penalty shot?
going into
Yeah.
the World Cup, I think they were ranked number 3 or something in the world.
Top five.
It turns out Canada had a tough group, but we were one of maybe the only country not to get a point in that World Cup. Hopefully better things in 3 years' time.
In our very own backyard.
Yep.
Here.
Some
Toronto.
games at
Yes.
BMO, for sure.
Yep.
What was it quickly? And I know we did this last time you were here, so but he talks about 24-hour shifts at Much, and one day on daylight savings, you did a 25-hour shift with Rachel Perry. Did that happen?
We used to have these weekends, the 80s weekends, the combat zone weekends, where we used to sleep over and just continuously give the MuchMusic viewer the videos, the bands, the entertainment. And we loved it. Well, back then, you'll do anything because you just love what to this day, you love what you're doing so much. If the producers come to you with an idea, you're going to be on for 24 hours, 25 hours. Yeah, let's do it. Let's go. Let's rock and roll.
And I'm leaving the final word for Sid, because Sid wrote me a lovely note when he heard you were coming on. He said, "Hey, Mike, here is a short video I shot from August 1998.
Wow.
While Rick was on air at MuchMusic.
Okay.
The key, it's actually, I only have audio of
Okay.
it, but I'm going to play it in a second. In fact,
All right.
I'm going to play it in a moment. The kids asked me to take them to watch a contest with Rick the Temp. Our middle son, Phil, was chosen to win a pair of running shoes, but with one condition. He had to eat a can of sardines to win them. He hates sardines with a passion, and he still does now he's in his 30s. The ultimate, what would you do for a prize? I wonder if Rick has any memories of it. So before you tell us if you remember this, and I remember Sid is listening, and he has sent me some audio.
So let's give away another prize. Another prize
We
in
have one more
that
Skechers prize pack to give away, consisting of a pair of shoes, a hat, and a CD case.
I hear everyone saying, oh, but did you just see what Patrick did out there? Who wants to Elvis, I said.
Now you realize it's not all fun and games. You may have to submit to some sort of psychological. Absolutely. You're not gonna have any contractual suing in response to us humiliating you. All right then. I would take that as affirmative. Beautiful.
Who do we have?
Maureen, please.
Who's the contestant?
I don't know.
Is that Nemageni Kiwanuka?
She's also an FOTM, by the way. I think so. It sounds like her.
You.
This is 1998.
Well, that's. I hope I have the right year.
Yeah, haven't you? Where have you traveled from, son?
London, Ontario.
London, Ontario. Everybody, London, Ontario.
Huh.
It's a very, very exotic city.
This
Now,
is
okay, young
Phil,
man,
I
are
guess.
you ready to do anything? Anything at all?
I don't remember.
Are you sure?
Is it jogging any memories here?
Okay.
There you are.
Okay. Okay.
You know you were there.
Oh, we let the audience members take over.
Okay.
But
That's who that is.
then
then.
now we're doing
Yeah, because that's too early for
spinning
now.
the wheel. That was too, yeah.
Eat it.
Oh my goodness me! Now this is. Now what is your name? What is your name, son?
Phil.
Phil.
That's Phil.
Well, you are going to be filled up with these, Phil.
That guy could have taken your job. That person did a great job. Okay.
This is 25 years ago.
Wow.
25 years ago.
Not dead, so it's okay.
Wow. So, Sid, doesn't sound like Rick remembers this, but
I'm just trying to recognize those voices, but it must have been when we let the audience members take over.
I think so.
I just hope Phil still has those Skechers, because Skechers, so comfy.
Is that what they were? Skechers? But they weren't from Jay-Z. These were just
No, they
Skechers.
were Jay-Z.
Okay, amazing.
So we did that from time to time. And that sounds like it's right on Queen Street there. We used to open up the window a lot and get right out there.
Which
on
was the
street
cool
and-
thing about 299 Queen is that you were like the environment. And Lance was talking about this. Like you were on the street.
Yeah. Everyone was part of the show. Everyone was part of the show who wanted to be, who came down.
What happened to Much Music? Is it just Simpsons reruns now? What's going on? Do you know anything about Much Music these days?
Well,
No.
I hear that Much was doing big things on TikTok.
Well, I wouldn't know. Like it's one of those things where it's happening there, and I
Listen,
don't have that.
Can I
box.
just say it's not our Much Music. It's not the Much Music.
not
we
for
remember.
us anyway, right?
It's not for you anymore. Okay, Mike.
They're not. It's not smells like Teen Spirit every couple of hours. That's what I'm.
It smells like sardines.
Or maybe a Take on Me by Aha. Like
Yes.
that was
Oh.
the go-to jam. So thank you, Sid, though, for sending in that
thank
audio.
you, Sid, and your son Phil there. So Phil actually did eat the sardines for
Yep.
the shoes.
Even though to this date he hates eating the sardines, but he got those shoes. So it's what would you do to win the shoes? I loved kicking out the jams with you, Rick. You're going to come back and
Same,
kick out
Mike.
the other 10.
I'd be honored to come back. Thank you for having me back this time.
Well, thank you for coming.
Yeah.
And if anyone has any old tech, antiquated technology, don't throw it in the garbage. It ends up in our landfills, and those chemicals do not belong in our landfills. Go to recyclemyelectronics.ca.
Big shout out to Roy Halladay. May he rest in peace. I've been looking at that hat the whole time. You have a Roy Halladay baseball cap, 32. We lost Roy a few years back in that terrible plane crash, but one of the nicest guys I had ever met in baseball. We did a Blue Jays event when I was at ET many years ago at the ROM, and Roy Halladay was there, being one of the sweetest human beings you would ever meet. So.
And one of the greatest work
Can't wait
ethics
to,
in baseball history. Like
doubt
he'd be
about it.
first out there working out.
And lights out when that guy was up on that mound.
Hall of Fame worthy, absolutely. And
Great hat.
him and Dave Stieb, the two greatest starters in franchise history.
Go Jays.
Because we can't say go Leafs because we're all deflated. But you're telling me Leafs in 5. Is that what you're telling me, Rick?
5, 6, or 7.
Okay.
They are coming back though.
Well, I don't think we'll get swept. It was just disheartening after another great regular season to see that effort in the first period
Don't
last
panic.
night. It was
Don't
just
panic, Leafs fans.
I don't panic because I have no expectations. I'll be very honest with you. I don't even expect to see a second round game, so how can I get upset, right? Right, Rick? Right.
I agree.
And that brings us to the end of our 1,240th show.
Congratulations. Well done.
Or
You don't look a day over 642.
you can follow me on Twitter. I'm at Toronto Mike. Rick, what's the best way to follow your antics online?
I'm on the old Instagram there, Rick_Campanelli, and that is my go-to social media platform.
Our friends at Great Lakes Brewery, they're at Great Lakes Beer. Palma Pasta's at Palma Pasta. Monaris is at Monaris. Recycle My Electronics are at EPRA_Canada. The Moment Lab are at The Moment Lab. And Ridley Funeral Home are at Ridley FH. They tell me Rick's a good Hamilton boy. See you all later this week.
Well, I've been told that there's a sucker born every day, but I wonder who that I can. Well, maybe I'm not, and maybe I am. Who gives a damn? Because everything is coming up rosy and green. Yeah, the wind is cold, but the smell of snow warms me today. And your smile is fine, and it's just like mine, and it won't go away. 'Cause everything is rosy and gray. Well, I've kissed you in France, and I've kissed you in Spain. And I've kissed you in places I better not name.